Is there all in there?
bottles,
Ben's
just
not
a
in
lot
there.
of
Can you come
really
back? How do you
good,
scroll back?
fundraising efforts by your high school youth group. I'm going to hand it off to Blake.
Okay, there you go.
So I'm here to develop
Did
a
you start
little
it?
bit of the history and the demographics surrounding Red Lake, Minnesota. To start off, Red Lake, Minnesota is home to the federally recognized Red Lake Band of Chippewa, which is separate from the Chippewa tribe in Minnesota. It is uniquely the only closed reservation in Minnesota, meaning that there is no private land ownership. All the land is owned by the tribe. Within the Red Lake Reservation, there are 4 towns. The first one being Little Rock, then Conema, then the town of Red Lake where we stayed for the trip, as well as Redview, which fell on the animal shelter, which is there. Although northern Minnesota was a beautiful place, they had some very serious struggles, especially in Red Lake. To start off, household income is lower than Red Lake than any other reservation in the state. It was approximately around $8,372 in 1999, as well as the unemployment currently sits around 60%. In 2004, the reservation conducted a study in their schools and came to the alarming number of 43% of boys and 81% of girls had considered suicide, and 48% of girls on the reservation attempted it. Moving on here, the local economy runs primarily on casino revenue as well as federal stipends, as well as the average pay for residents in Red Lake is around $7 an hour. Moving on here, the last thing is the primary industries in Red Lake are logging, as it's a very wooded area around there, as well as walleye fishing, because Red Lake is home to the largest lake in the state.
In our mission trip, we had 4 main service projects: Red Lake Rosie's, the retirement home, Kids Club, and the women's shelter. At Red Lake Rosie's, it was an animal rescue site ran by a woman named Karen, who made it her goal to save starving and diseased animals from the reservation. Also, she spaded and neutered animals because of the overpopulation of dogs on the reservation. Work the first group from our church did include cleaning the animals' pens. It also included reorganizing the feed shed. And then the second group came in the last 2 days and worked on fixing dog houses, cutting and removing brush, and moving temporary dog cages and mowing under them. And here's Andrew to talk about the retirement home.
Hello. Yes, I worked at the retirement home. Very rewarding experience. They actually split us into 2 groups. One to interact and talk with the elderly people. My group was to go out and plant a garden. So, as you know, I have some experience with that, and so they asked the Iowa boy to lead the garden planting. So it was a lot of fun. I'm glad I was there. So it was a very rewarding experience doing something I knew to help a community.
The Kids Club at Red Lake Reservation has the largest attendance in the country of about 120 kids. We all volunteered for different positions, either leading a group of about 20 kids or teaching a lesson of some sort. We sang songs, taught Bible lessons, made crafts, and played games together. Many of these kids had rough home lives, and it was very rewarding to see how they opened up to us.
The last place we went, Ben, Jacob, and I got to experience a women's shelter in Red Lake, Minnesota. So this women's shelter basically housed women and children who were in need of housing and assistance in the area. We cleaned up the yard mostly. We got into some poison ivy, so that was an interesting experience. We played with reservation dogs that were there, and we just learned to work together with other churches and learned how to give back in the community in maybe not the most glamorous way that we could. Okay, we're going to move on to favorite moments, and I think that mine was definitely working with the kids at the Kids Club. Seeing the youth there and experiencing them, and it just really opened your eyes up to the culture of how these kids were raised, and just seeing how happy they were to see you, and maybe their different struggles and their different ways of approaching problems. It was really fascinating.
also the kids club. I did sports, and so I got a different group of kids for every station they did. But it was interesting to see how the kids interacted with us and how different structured environments helped them to participate and help them work better in the activity that I was doing.
My favorite moment was working at Red Lake Rosie's, the animal shelter. I have a really big passion for animals, and so working there with her and just seeing the love that she had for all the animals, just like, it was just amazing to see, and it's helping me to keep me on the right track with and to be a veterinarian in the future. And it was just so awesome to see how one woman made such a difference in the community with taking in all the stray animals, not necessarily just dogs, but she had cats there and sometimes horses even. So it was just really amazing to see the love that she had for each and every one of the animals.
My favorite experience was watching the transformation of the kids at Kids Club. At the beginning, they all had rough home lives. They still do, but it was just very evident in their behavior. And just seeing over the course of the week how a little bit of love from us could change their behavior and just their happiness, it was really rewarding to see that us just being there for someone can make such a difference in their lives.
Probably my most rewarding experience was planting the garden. It was just so much fun to bring something I knew, bring a little bit of my background into a community that needed it, and being able to help that community. That's where I really felt I made an impact. I hope that garden did well.
My kind of favorite part of the mission trip, the biggest building point, would definitely be with kind of the development of ourselves over the week. For me, both Andrew and I have always struggled with patience. And being able to build on that point during Kids Club, working with some very troubled youth was quite rewarding.
Again, we would just want to thank you for being such a loving and generous congregation. Our mission trip could have never happened without your support, and we really, really appreciate it. Again, it would not have been possible, and we're just so thankful that there's not enough words to be able to say how thankful and grateful we are to you. We're very blessed to have you as a congregation, and we thank you so very, very much.
Thank you, guys, for telling us about the trip and